In the fall semester of 2017, SRJC's theater, Burbank Auditorium, underwent construction for modernization, upgrading the building with new technology and rearranging many aspects of the building's structure.
It was gorgeous and overwhelming and disorienting. I was so used to the old building because I started at Santa Rosa Junior College in 2007, so I guess I'd been teaching in the old building 11 or 12 years.
The biggest new feature was the addition of the studio theater. We had never had a studio theater. For at least 40, 50 years, the department's been asking for a studio theater, so we finally got the 3/4 thrust, 200-seat studio theater. We had a green room for the first time, which is a room for students, actors, and technicians to hang out in. And for the first time ever in the history of the theater department, we had a real dressing room. People don't realize we never had a dressing room.
Productions of The Cripple of Inishmaan and The Wedding Singer were scheduled to premiere in the new studio theater and Burbank Auditorium's main stage, respectively. Cripple of Inishmaan opened on March 6th of 2020 and successfully ran one weekend of shows, plus a Wednesday show on March 11th. The following morning, SRJC sent out emails stating that COVID-19 had been declared a global pandemic, canceling all in-person events and classes on campus.
It was a surreal time because we were having these events in Burbank and we'd waited so long and it kept getting delayed and delayed and it wasn't finished and it wasn't finished, which is why we were always scrambling for places to perform the shows because we kept thinking we were moving in. When we got to Cripple of Inishmaan, we had opened the new space and it was Wednesday night of the second week of performances. And by that evening, I had heard rumor on campus that I could tell the way things were going, and I just had this feeling that Wednesday night performance, they're going to close us down Thursday morning. And I took my phone and I just tried to record some scenes of the play on my phone to try to capture it because I knew what was going on and I didn't want the cast to know. And then sure enough, the next morning we were closed.
SRJC had to find some way of bringing live theater to its audiences. With in-person performances not being an option, they decided to do live-streamed shows, where all the actors would perform from their own homes with backdrops, ring lights, costumes, webcams, and in some cases, green screens.
I have to say, as much work as it was, I think we really rocked those online shows. We made a conscious artistic choice because it's theater that we're teaching. It was important to me as department chair that we were still doing live theater. The actors and the crew into a live performance situation where things go wrong and they have to think on their feet and they have to adapt. By choosing to do it live streaming rather than pre-recording it and editing it, we made our lives much, much more difficult. I don't regret that choice because I think the shows had that live performance edge to them, and I think the audience felt it.
With this new Zoom theater format, SRJC successfully put on a full season of shows: Murder on the Orient Express, It's a Wonderful Life, She Kills Monsters, the Virtual Realms edition, and the last one was Overcome, a student-devised play where all of the actors wrote their own scenes and songs for the show. This brings us to the spring semester of 2022. It was a new year, and our audiences had waited long enough. It was time to bring back live theater to SRJC's Burbank Auditorium. The shows for the semester's season were The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime in the studio theater, and on Burbank's main stage, the previously canceled Wedding Singer.
I was very excited to have directed the first show in this new space. And I was really proud of the students and the staff and everybody who put the show together. And I'm a crier. I'm so worn out by the time a show opens, I almost always burst into tears. And Wedding Singer was no exception.
It was absolutely lovely to first see Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime in the studio theater, to be there in the lobby with people, to have that sense of coming together again and that sense of community. Now, granted, everybody was still masked and people weren't hugging and people were kind of keeping distance, but the truth is, theater people are theater people, and so many people came up and hugged me, and I'm totally fine with that, right? We were just all like, we're back! You know? It really gave me a sense of relief and a sense of joy and a sense of finally coming home again. So to finally sit in Burbank for Wedding Singer and to have all that behind us is just such a relief.